There's a moment many gardeners recognise. You know what you could be doing, but you keep going over and over and over in your head. What if I make it worse? What if I should wait? What if I'm missing something? Very often, the problem isn't the garden, it's overthinking that gets in the way of action. I help women who garden grow clarity and confidence in their gardens and in themselves. And today I want to talk about why overthinking is so common in the garden and how it quietly erodes confidence. Overthinking is often disguised as calm and care. It feels like you're being thorough, attentive, responsive. You tell yourself you're being careful, so you stand a little longer. You replay the advice that you've heard. You think about what someone else might be doing or what somebody else might have said. And sometimes you even step back entirely, not because you don't know what to do, but because you're afraid of doing something wrong. But while you're thinking, nothing changes. And slowly, something creeps in, and that's doubt. Not because you've done something wrong, but because you haven't allowed yourself to trust what you already know. Overthinking doesn't usually start as fear, it starts as wanting to get it right. And that desire to get it right is understandable. But perfection is not how gardens grow. The response is they grow slowly through experience, confidence, and how to do it that. Gardening advice is everywhere now. Books, there's lots of books on gardening. There's videos like here on YouTube. There's social media videos and social media articles, well-meaning conversations. You might prune one way, and then you read something that suggests the opposite. You might plant something confidently, and then you see a post saying you shouldn't have never planted it there. And then suddenly your certainty begins to wobble. Information can be helpful, but too much of it, especially at the wrong moment, can be destabilizing. When you're taking too many voices, so when you're taking too many voices in, your own judgment becomes quieter and you stop asking, what am I seeing here? And you start asking, what would somebody else do? And is that something I'm, I meant to say, and that's something I'm very aware of when I'm giving my talk. Let me start that sentence again. And that's something that I'm very aware of when I'm giving my gardening talks. And sometimes when I'm speaking to gardening groups on practical how-to topics, it could be on pruning, it could be on planting, it could be about garden maintenance, I can see in the room that some gardeners start to feel a little uncomfortable. And it's almost as if they're thinking, oh no, I've been doing it all wrong right from the start. Oh, I've got this wrong. I've been doing this wrong. I've been doing that wrong. And I take a step back and I always say something very deliberately to my audience. And this is what I say. If you like your garden the way it is, then that's exactly how it's meant to be. I'll expand on that in another video. But I really do mean that, because gardening isn't a ranking system. And then I'll add to what I've just said. If you know there's something missing, or you're not quite hitting the mark, or you need more knowledge, That's when additional information can help. And you may find something useful here. There may be a great takeaway that you can carry away today. Information should support confidence, not replace it. Advice should refine your judgment, not silence it. And confidence doesn't come from growing and collecting more and more answers. It grows when we learn to listen to which voices and when we learn to step back from some voices. Sometimes clarity returns not when you gather more information, but when you actually reduce it. Confidence doesn't come back all at once, it returns in small, quiet moments. When you make a decision, even one simple decision, nothing terrible happens. When you cut back one stem, when you move one plant, when you choose to wait for one more week, and then you notice the garden didn't collapse. You realise I can respond if I need to. I don't have to predict everything in advance. Here's something else I often say to my clients. The garden is rarely as fragile as your thoughts suggest. Each small decision becomes evidence. Not that you're perfect, but that you're capable. That's how self-trust is rebuilt. Not through certainty, but through participation. And if you catch yourself overthinking, try this. Ask yourself, am I observing or am I rehearsing worry? Observation looks outward and the worry loop looks inward. Observation leads to action and worry leads to paralysis. The garden usually needs observation first. It doesn't need endless rehearsals. Oh, should I do it like this? 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 You just need to observe. And if you find yourself stuck in a thought, ask whether the garden needs action or whether it's just you that needs reassurance. And if it's reassurance you need, remember, reassurance grows from experience, not from perfection. Remember, every plant grows with care, and so do you. And until next time, keep on growing your garden and yourself.